In competitive Siege, some teams don't just play the game, they define it. Teams like BDS and W7M sit at the pinnacle of the scene, their skill and coordination setting them apart from the rest. Yet, no matter how dominant they seem, only one team can be the champion. BDS and W7M are two titans with clashing philosophies. BDS plays a suffocating, meticulous, position-based style, using their skill and coordination to pick apart their opponents. W7M, on the other hand, are pure chaos. Their fast-paced aggression turning matches into breathtaking displays of raw talent. When these two styles collide, the result is nothing short of electric. This year, BDS have been excellent. With 2 new pickups revitalizing the roster, they've achieved incredible results. A runner-up finish in Manchester, quickly followed by victory at the Esports World Cup. Now in Montreal, they're hungry to make another statement. Opposite them stands W7M, a team with an unparalleled legacy, boasting major wins, world championships, and everything in between. But this isn't that roster. And under the weight of the W7M banner, a team full of brand new faces the immense challenge of living up to its history. At the Blastar 6 Montreal Major, this rivalry reached its boiling point. After 3 grueling maps, W7M pulls ahead with a 2-1 lead, setting the stage for Kafe. It's a map perfectly suited to their high-octane style, but BDS aren't done yet. With their backs against the wall, they're ready to fight. The question remains, can BDS bounce back and bring this match to a final, decisive map where they can prove their dominance? Or will W7M rise to the occasion and forge their own legacy, stepping up to fill the shoes of those who came before? It all comes down to Kafe, this final map for the Montreal Major. This is BDS versus W7M. Starting on the defense, W7M opt to defend downstairs, kitchen, and kitchen. This is an interesting bomb site, which plays out in unique fashion. First of all, the site is massive, taking up almost the entire bottom floor of what is already a big map. Second, because of the way it's designed, with almost the entire ceiling above the site being destructible, this site lends itself to some creative defenses. W7M are playing a horizontal defense with both a bakery and VIP extension. Their idea is to contest everywhere around the objective, to prevent BDS from pushing in. BDS decide to fight into bakery, planning on using the Flores to clear util, the Deimos to gain intel, and the Capitao to make defenders move. They start to set up for their take, but W7M aren't a team who will just let things happen. Their style of defense is to attack the attack, lashing out aggressively any chance they get.
Kafe is not going to be easy for BDS. W7M were on a 5-game win streak on Kafe until they lost it yesterday, losing to Virtus Pro 7-4 in the semifinals. BDS hoping to repeat that one. They've got that history. They know what W7M like to do, but it won't stop Lobin from acquiring the opening pick onto Solitov.
An opener is secured, and this is bad for BDS. Even though they still have everything they need to clear out util, dropping numbers isn't good by any means. In order for BDS to go for a plant, they need to push through one of just a few choke points. By being down numbers, W7M can simply stand in place and face the advancing attackers, relying on trades to win the round. As long as they aren't caught in bakery, it should be almost impossible for BDS to isolate any fights.
Oh my, and Lobin thought he had another player lined up by the window. The Capitao shows his face for about a second. Lobin manages to get away as now Volps is taking quite a beating. BDS struggled with time over on Clubhouse. Uses off to the races with Leaky Fact not too far removed. Shots with 1 pick.
And now with bakery control, users might just have a spearhead into the site. Shaiko's still got 2 Deathmark trackers to power these remaining players, and 40 seconds to do it. They might just have it.
And the shield will run in. Shaiko eliminating dots.
Genius play out of Uses as he perfectly prioritizes his targets. He pushes through Small Bake, using the Blitz to blind Lobin, the only player facing him. But instead of taking that fight, he chooses to prioritize Volps instead. He knows that because Lobin is blind, there's a brief moment where he isn't part of the action. So Uses just calmly takes his time, shutting down the immediate threat before engaging the blinded defender. Elsewhere, the teams trade 1 apiece, with the round stabilizing in a 3v2. Here, BDS let their experience shine as all players stop what they're doing to reset and formulate a plan before continuing the round. They have 40 seconds remaining on the clock, so they decide to use it. Shaiko uses the Deimos to reveal Dota as his position. He tells his team, Goyo is playing Whiskey, let's pinch him. He quickly sprints up prep to hold the fall, while Yuzis uses his shield to push up the hallway. The attackers collapse on the remaining defenders, using their numbers to their advantage to give themselves favored fights.
Dodez and Dash now at the back of the bomb site. Case in hand for Brede. Dash very far removed. And now it's Dodez being watched by Shaiko. Down goes Dash. Dodez last man standing. He wins the engagement, but now toppled over by the shield.
After their successful defensive upstairs, W7M take things to the next site in their rotation, mining and dining. This site, with its windows directly to outside, can be difficult to defend if you don't know what you're doing, but top teams can do a lot to make it much more defensible. W7M want to play the entire map, essentially forcing BDS into engagements. By turning the round into a series of gunfights, W7M negate the disadvantages of the site and turn the round into a sort of deathmatch. BDS, for their part, want to take as little as possible. They don't need much to go for a plant, so by avoiding overcommitting to the clear, they can simply set case down in sight instead of going for fights. As is often the case on Kafe, they start off towards Red Hatch. But instead of applying pressure towards Cigar, BDS instead start looking towards mining. Shaiko works down red, while EFAC opens up the red window. Here, Dots, sensing an opportunity for an isolated fight, decides to try his luck and see what he can pull off.
How coincidental that on the map where they ultimately started to lose the major in Manchester, the other side would happen. They'd start to win the Montreal major after taking map 1.
This is the double-edged sword of W7M's aggressive style. When it works, they're unstoppable. But here, they just give up an untraded pick. Now, the remainder of W7M will have their work cut out for them if they want to get back into this round. Worse still, BDS spot Dash on a drone, and as Dash re-aggresses to try and find a pick, uses swings New Hatch and easily takes him out. Now, up by 2, BDS find themselves in an excellent position. The remaining defenders are spread across the map, far from the spearhead of the BDS attack. Dodez is in Fireplace, Vulp's back trains, and Loben is on a whole other floor on the opposite side of the map. BDS assess their situation and play it out perfectly. They leave Yuzis on Skylight to hold Loben, essentially negating the risk of a flank, while the other 4 attackers collapse into sight.
Right now on red stairs, 3 players all in close proximity to one another. BDS got that earlier pick, a second followed, and now they're just looking for the remaining 3. Make that 2. What is happening? BDS pulverizing W7M. These rounds have been so lopsided, and it's a flawless third round for BDS to regain the lead.
After a convincing defeat last round, W7M decide to switch sites once more. They go back to the first floor, but their setup looks nothing like it did in round 1. Remember what I said about how this site lends itself to some creative defenses? Well, this is an excellent example of that. Last time, W7M extended horizontally from site, forcing BDS to battle through any entry points on the first floor. This time, things are a bit different, as they play players upstairs with the intention of using the site's verticality to their advantage. See, by opening holes in the floor of mining, W7M can see attackers as they walk into site, holding choke points and denying plant from a whole other floor. If BDS aren't able to deal with this, they'll be in for a rough time. The round starts poorly for the attack, as EFAC is taken out trying to distract defenders from the actual aims of the attack. See, even though he was on his way to the roof, BDS aren't planning to attempt to clear, and the blitz outside Bakery is about to make their true intentions clear.
Sleeky Fac up top on Repel. Things not getting any better for BDS. Still so much of the round remaining. Dota's the only casualty. Hold on, Shaiko and Yuzis working as support for Brede, who's made his way up towards the bomb site, but still not in it just yet. Brede has been excellent so far through the start of map number 4. 4 kills through 3 rounds.
Ooh, but look at this. The drone might be looking into the site, but Volps is just tucked around the corner of Small Bake. If he waits and bides his time and never gets droned, he can go for this retake Bakery, and Shaiko needs to be good on that coverage.
Volps looking for an opening.
BDS explode into Bakery, using the blitz as a distraction as Shaiko and Yuzis gun defenders down. The round stabilizes in a 3v2, advantage BDS. But what do they do next? W7M are giving them space, so going for kills isn't an option. But with the vertical holes up above, neither is planting. Or is it? See, Yuzis is playing Capitao, and his smoke grenades can stick to surfaces. But why is that useful? Well, by shooting a smoke bolt at the ceiling, he can cover the holes being played by Loben upstairs. By denying line of sight from above, and with Yuzis and Shaiko to cover, they attempt to move in for the plan.
Loben Right now, the last real line of defense is Volps now gets hounded on these red stairs. Flashed, pushed off of his position. Underneath that default, or underneath the bulletproof cam, in goes Brede. Now Volps wondering what could be had. A nice shot on the Shaiko. Brede also dropped. How did things go so badly for BDS? Volps bails them out.
In a tragic turn of fate, Loban finds Brede through a gap in the smoke. It's small, but enough, pushing W7M to a tie game. For their final site on their defensive half, W7M are defending the fourth and final site on Kafe, reading room and fireplace. BDS go for what is a typical attack, attempting an entry from top red with added pressure from behind on the cocktail windows. But W7M decide to relieve some of that pressure by making a play and use their numbers advantage cocktail side to take the fight to BDS.
Get a huge numbers advantage. It leads to a 4-player or even a flawless round in terms of survival. So for BDS, if you are consistently doing battle with your adversary and you can gain nothing from it.
W7M trades 1-for-1, but the trade is absolutely in their favor. Taking out EFAC gets rid of BDS's back pressure, and losing Grim means they no longer have any execute utility. Either way, they continue with their take, but without the back pressure, they decide to try something else. BDS have a read there's somebody playing inside of trains, and they move in to collect the isolated pick. But W7M react, rotating over to try and help their now cut off teammate. Volps' Mira, stuck in trains, suddenly becomes the focal point of this entire round. Both teams battling over a single player. BDS to kill him, W7M to keep him alive. And with all the pressure starting to mount, Volps will have to be perfect to avoid preemptively dying. The longer he stays alive, the worse things become for BDS as their time slowly bleeds away, making them increasingly desperate. But Volps is absolutely the man for the job. Just watch as he puts on a masterclass, moving flawlessly around the minute amount of cover he has, as BDS throws everything but the kitchen sink in his direction.
On that hop out, Loban of course dies, but when the other two players go for that peek, there's somebody allowing him to retreat and making sure he can't get peeked from new. Everyone from BDS pushing this exact side right now.
Volps being hunted down as Dash got one pick traded off by Solitov. That same frustration that W7M must feel. BDS feels it a lot. W7M now not able to gain this advantage until an impressive shot from Volps. They'll try again. As Volps still right now inside of train. He's got to read through the hard wall. One creeping up over by engine. Grenade goes out to move him out of this position. Volps plays this so smartly. Shaiko doesn't usually lose these duels. All the while, Dots and Dones are still very much alive. Volps is just leading them down the primrose path. Brede next in line. Volps has been done some serious damage. It's Dots now with 9 HP to be found on Brede. That is it.
Volps does so well, staying alive over 45 seconds and taking a few attackers down with him. Now, Brede is left in a 1v1. But with low time, low health, and next to no info, his prospects in the clutch are looking grim.
Very little remains on the side of BDS. Brede holding the diffuser, but hard pressed to imagine the case going down with the timer being what it's at. He had a brief opportunity onto Dots. The Type 89 has a great fire rate, and now the creep up. Brede has no time to peel off it. The first half is in the book for W7M 4-2.
The side swap, and W7M now find themselves on the attack. Up rounds, they're feeling confident and decide to set the pace right away. Similar to BDS, they're looking to push directly into sight, but they've got some super cool pathing they're going to use to make it happen. Keep an eye on player positions and see if you can spot what they do.
They're a very patient team on defense. They play very conservatively. Now for the remainder of this map, they're going to be on attack. And what can they muster? Adrenal Surge goes off alongside Logic Bomb. Dots punished by Usis. Usis then traded out immediately by Dones. Yet again, W7M refusing to allow BDS to have an advantage. Brede's now been picked off by Dash. Shaiko Locked inside a coat check, flashed out of his position. Solitov down for the count, the hands of Dash. Shaiko gets one before he runs away. Now over towards Whiskey, connects with a second. Looking for a third, long range.
What an interesting entry out of W7M. They go for a rush, with 3 players essentially just fighting through Bakery. But this is simply a distraction for the actual important players to find impact elsewhere. Volps' entry, we saw, using the Ram to instantly open up a red window and push down the stairs. But at the same time, Dash seemingly teleports into Whiskey. Where did he come from? How are BDS not aware he's there? Well, the reason BDS don't expect him is because he hasn't opened a single barricade. They haven't had any audio cue to clue them into the fact that they're getting flanked. And that's because less than 10 seconds prior to picking up his first kill, Dash was on the roof. He drops Skylight, then Pillar, then sends it down Brown, going from outside the map to the thick of the defensive setup almost instantly. He finds himself 2 kills, but fails to account for just one thing: Shaiko. Shaiko turns around and shuts both him and Volps down, flipping an almost unwinnable round right back to even. Now, in the 2v2, what will W7M try to do?
He'll have another opportunity. He'll slip through his finger as now he charges over towards the bomb sites. He's got some reads inside a bait, but Dodes has the cross. Missed opportunity for Dodes. Just over top of Leaky Fact. Half of the round still to go. And yet we are in a 1v1. Loban and Leaky Fact have collided multiple times on this map. Now they swap sides. Leaky Fact just needs to sit and wait, but Loban asserting himself, not giving up any ground whatsoever. Both tussling inside of the bomb site. A pixel angle was held, but Loban is exposed to Leaky Fact as long as he has information. The Frenchman will creep up. Loban off of the plant. Leaky Fact sees him, but Loban wins it through the wall! Quieting the crowd. W7M's lead will grow. They are 2 rounds away from the championship.
Incredible composure out of Loban as he wins the 1v1 to secure the round for his team. Now, W7M are on match point with an opportunity to close out this game once and for all. For this final round, BDS decide to defend downstairs, and fearing making a mistake that might lose them the game, the defenders opt to defend only horizontally. W7M take top down, securing the uncontested space above site and opening up vert throughout until the teams find themselves in a 5v5 with only 30 seconds remaining. This round comes down to the execute. W7M are going to drop Freezer Hatch, but there's something they've missed. This position, played by Bikide, is unbelievably powerful when it comes to stopping the Freezer drop. Because of the feed holes across Freezer wall, as the players drop the hatch, Bikide can see their toes through a one-way, giving him a huge advantage in the fight. His position could win his team the entire round. But W7M have a plan. They've brought along the Osa, intending to use her in a unique way to allow their entry after all. By dropping Hatch with the Osa shield held out facing VIP, there's nothing Bikide can do. He's forced to simply stare as Osa sets up her shield to protect any other drops. In a moment of desperation, BDS call for a coordinated retake, hoping that by sprinting through sight, they'll be able to overwhelm the attack's coverage. But the angles from above are simply too strong. This would take a miracle.
This will be a freezer drop, with the Osa holding on to those shields to try and grant an opening for the diffuser to go down. The freezer drop comes in. Dot's absorbing an awful lot of damage. He'll set things up and he'll have to pull out a goo mine before the job of getting the case down can be done. Loban defending against it. The first domino for BDS. EFAT dies. Friday goes as well. BDS have lost Shaiko and use this. BDS are finding out the hard way right now that when you mess with